Hello, Walker Stars. We are going to get ready to do DIY number 1 in the gray box. And the gray box DIYs are supposed to be done during Elm. And all these other you're going to be doing during your reading stations in the next couple of weeks. So you'll see those later on. But right now we're just working on the gray ones. So this first one we're going to do is with the Fusion book. It says read pages 332 to 341. Now remember your Fusion book. This is the one in our classrooms, and you should all have your own book. So you're going to go ahead and turn to pages 332 and 333. So it looks something like this, okay, in your place. And it's got some zebras on it, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to read through these pages. I'm actually going to read it to you, okay? And then we're going to answer some questions. But I'm going to read, and my book might be down here. I might hold it up. But I want you to follow along in your book. Don't just sit here and watch this video. Keep playing it, but I want you to follow along with your eyes or even your finger as I'm reading, okay? So the heading says, in your place. Plants and animals use living and non-living things to meet their needs. They get the things they need from their environment. All the living and non-living things in a place make up an environment. And we know that this word right here, it's bold and it's yellow. It's a text feature, and so that the author really wants us to know that. And so I can use my context clues and look at the sentence above it. They get things they need from their environment. All living and non-living things in a place make up the environment. Plants and animals need an environment where there's water, food, and space. 3 basic needs: water, food, and space. Space to grow, space to live. Think about if you had to live in a 1-bedroom house where there's no living room, anything else, just one room. You need space to grow. You might not grow very well if you are in that little teeny tiny spot. Okay. The caption down here with this picture describes the zebras. So let's read it. Follow along. Plants and animals need an environment where they can find water. So this picture is a good example of zebras. This is just a pond or some source of natural water that they have around them that they have to survive. Plants and animals need air in their environment. If we're not breathing air, we can't survive. Our bodies have to have that oxygen. Let's look at this one. It says plants need an environment where they can get sunlight to make food. Animals need an environment where they can find food. So think about that. So plants have to have the sun. That's how they make their food, is from the sun. And we're going to do a DIY, or actually an Elm unit in a couple of weeks. Not weeks. One upcoming unit. We're going to talk about plants, okay? And actually what they really need. Animals have to be in an environment where they can find the appropriate or the right food. So would you have a polar bear living in Texas? Probably not. Probably not. What they eat up north is not probably what you can find here. So the animals that live in specific environments are they have to live there to get the food that they need. And let's read this last one. And it says plants and animals need an environment where they have space to live and grow. Some animals need to find shelter in their environment. So I want you to think, can you think of an animal that has to make a shelter? Well, I think of chipmunks in a tree. I think of birds. They build a nest high up in a tree. Can you imagine if there were no trees or houses around, because sometimes birds make their nests in like your patios or your porches or something crazy like that. If those weren't there, where would they live? I don't know. So they have to have sometimes a place to build their shelter. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to answer this box, the white one, and it says, give an example of how living things depend on their environment. Then compare how plants and animals get their food in their environment. So I want you to think about what we've read. I want you to pause the video, take a moment, write down your thoughts, and when you finish, press play. Okay, good job. I'm so excited to read and hear what you're telling your teachers and about what you think. So let's turn the page, because we have to read to page 341. Oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. Here we go. Getting help is the heading. Animals depend on plants in their environment to meet their needs. Many animals use plants for shelter. Ooh. Some animals hide in the plants. Other animals live in plants or use them to build homes. A detail right here in this box, it says a detail is a fact about a main idea. Draw one line under a detail and then arrow to the main idea it tells about. So if you want to take a second, you can do that. If not, we'll keep going. So down here at the bottom it says, the bird uses plants to build a nest. A lion hides in the tall grass. Let's read this up here at the top. Animals need to breathe air to get oxygen, a gas in the air. Plants give off oxygen. Some animals use plants for food. Some animals eat other animals that eat plants. Maybe that sounds something kind of like the food chain, where things are kind of eating each other and it kind of goes down from there. So here we go. A panda eats bamboo. Over here. Ants find both food and shelter in the thorns of that particular tree. That's pretty interesting. So in this white box, you're going to write and compare ways animals depend on plants. Well, you've got some examples right here on your pictures. So think about maybe which one do you want to write about. Don't copy exactly. If you want to write about the panda, don't copy this sentence. We can read that. You don't need to recopy it. Think about it. How can you write that sentence in your own words? So take a moment, pause the video, write this. When you're finished, come back. Okay, here we go. I think I'm getting sick. Oh, allergies. Here we go. Page 336, the heading, Giving Help. Read along with me. Plants depend on animals in their environment. So we just read about animals depend on plants. Now plants depend on animals? Animals may help plants reproduce. What that means is make new plants. So to reproduce means to make something new again. So do you understand what that means? That means like if teachers say your reading or math stations, we produce one copy, then we take it to a copier to reproduce. So make it again, make multiple things. So some animals carry fruits to new places. There, seeds inside the fruits may grow into new plants. Did you know that? So sometimes animals can take the seeds from, apples or whatever they're eating, and it can be carried. Sometimes, ew, this is going to get really gross but kind of funny. Sometimes when they eat stuff like that, then when they go potty, and they drop it, the potty, okay, then that goes into the ground and new stuff can sometimes form. Isn't that crazy? Ooh, I don't know if that's really true. That might be kind of funny. So how about this one at the bottom? Look at this cute little puppy dog. The dog spreads seeds that are inside the burrs on this fur. So this is a little sticker burr. I used to grow up in the country, and so my doggies, who actually look kind of just like this, she would always have these little stickers all over her when she'd come out from the trees. Okay, let's keep moving. Miss Warrington is getting off on a rant. Okay, we're going to stick to the reading, not Miss Warrington's stories. Here we go. Some animals spread pollen for plants. Pollen is a powder that flowers need to make seeds. Pollen may stick to an animal. The animal carries the pollen from flower to flower. This helps plants make new plants. So we can see, as a bat drinks the flower nectar, the pollen rubs off on the bat. This is the big picture. The caption says, a woodpecker moves acorns with its beak. Seeds are inside the acorns. And then this last picture says, a beetle carries pollen on its body. And then when they travel from flower to flower eating, they pollinate and it reproduces. So your little white box where you're going to answer says, give examples of how animals help plants reproduce. Well, you've got some examples right here in the blue boxes. Just make sure you're not copying what it says in your own words. So pause the video, write that, and then come back to me. Okay, here we go. The next one, eat up. Okay, ooh, there's a brain pop about the food chain. It's one of your DIYs. It's DIY number 4. It says, these pictures show a food chain. A food chain shows how energy moves from plants to animals. Follow the arrows. Look at how living things depend on one another in a lake food chain. So they are giving us an example of how the food chain works at a lake. Okay? So it starts with this. It starts with the sun. Everything starts with the sun, just like the water cycle, right? Food chains start with sunlight and plants. In this food chain, the water plants use sunlight. Oh, that didn't make sense. Let me back up and reread. In this food chain, the water plants use sunlight to make food. Then, a turtle will eat the water plants because they eat leaves and they eat plants. They don't eat anything else. They might eat bugs. I don't know. But they eat plants. And then the eagle eats the turtle. Can you see? Can you see my book? Okay, so that's the food chain. It goes sun to plants to turtle to eagle. Okay? So on this one, draw what's missing from the first step of this wooded area of food chain. So I see some grass, then the grasshopper, and then this is some type of lizard or like a reptile. So what's missing in here that's not in this? Remember, everything starts with this one thing. My paper's going crazy. You are going to pause the video, draw what's missing, and then come back. Okay, these are our last 2 pages to read. And the heading on these last 2 is called At the Beach. I wish I was at the beach right now. It's kind of cold outside. Here we go. There are food chains in many different environments. Look at how living things depend on each other in a beach food chain. So just like we did, but this time we're looking at the beach. So what does it start with? It always starts with, you say it, whisper it, the sun. You got it. So here we go. Ready? A beach food chain starts with sunlight and plants or plant-like living things. The plants or plant-like living things use sunlight to make food. Krill. This is a picture of krill. And I know a type of penguin, I believe, eats krill. Krill, a kind of ocean animal, they eat plant-like living things. So the krill eats, it's making me sign in on my computer. There we go. Hopefully you didn't see that. So krill eats the plants. And then a rockfish eats the krill. And the krill eats the plants. And the plants start with the sun. Crazy. So that is a food chain. This is how it gets its food, and this is how it gets its food. And then you go this way. Okay? All right. We're going to keep going. We're going to do our activity page. Okay, so you're doing 343. So on here, you're looking at this page, the brain check, the white one, the one with this cute little rhino on it. Okay, I'm going to read the directions. You follow along with me. Read each clue below, then unscramble the letters to write the correct answer. Okay, so here's your word bank. Write it here in the yellow. So you have environment, oxygen, pollen, and food chain. So number one of these words, and it's mixed up. It's all the same letters, but it's all scrambled up. It says it's a gas in the air that animals need to survive. So which one of these is a gas? You're going to write that down there on number 1. If you need to at any point, pause the video while you're writing. Number 2, all the living and non-living things in a place. What are all the living and non-living things in a place called? Number 3, this shows how energy moves from plants to animals. Just talked about that. And then number 4, flowers need this to make seeds. Okay. So when you're finished with that, like I said, anytime you need to pause the video, you pause the video. And so we're going to do one last one. It's on page 344. It's on the back. And it looks like this. It's apply concepts. So use the words from the word bank again to complete the chart. So you have shelter, oxygen, seeds, food, and pollen. So this box are ways that animals use the plants. And this box is the ways animals help the plants. So the difference, how they use them, how they help them. Okay? So when animals build nests, they use plants for what? One of these words. Animals eat plants as what? What do they eat plants as? Their something. Last one. Animals need blank that plants give off. What do plants give that animals have to have? It's one of your basic needs. Okay? It's in the basic need. Okay, now we're going to look at how they help the plants. So animals help carry blank to new places. What do the animals carry on their bodies sometimes? Or they physically move it. Remember, the woodpecker moves the acorns. And the acorns have seeds in them. Or there was, what was that picture? The beetle. Remember the beetle? The beetle carries what? It goes right there. Okay? Animals spread blank that sticks to their bodies. Remember me talking about my dog that I used to have right here? Her name was Sugar. And she would come with what? Okay? So page 336 if you need to go back and look. I'm not going to tell you the answer, but go look at the dog. Okay? And that's it. So now what you're going to do, okay, once you've completed those two, and you think you have a good understanding, okay, you are looking for the research questions about 9C. And you know it's 9C because I don't know if you can see on your papers. See, I see on this one right here. 9C. So you're going to go and look for the research question that you created with your class about 9C. And that's the one you're going to answer. I would read them to you, but I don't have them all, okay? So good luck. We'll see you soon.